My message really was, women, I hear your voices.
Ann Romney told KWQC that this election is all about jobs and the economy, and she declined to give her opinion on gay marriage. This is her response when asked if she feels lesbian mothers should be allowed to marry their partners.
You know, I'm not going to talk about the specific issues. I'm going to let my husband speak on issues. I'm here to really just talk about my husband and what kind of a husband and father he is. And, you know, those are hot button issues that distract from what the real voting issue is going to be at this election. That is going to be about the economy and jobs.
Do you believe that employer-provided health insurance should be required to cover birth control?
Again, you're asking me questions that are not about what this election is going to be about. This election is going to be about the economy and jobs.
A Pew Research poll last April found 46% of women voters under age 50 said birth control is very important to their vote this November, and 31% of women voters said gay marriage is very important. But Mrs. Romney says issues like those are not part of her message to women.
Really, if you want to try to pull me off of the other messages, it's not going to work, because I know, because I've been out there.
Well, I don't want to pull you off any message. You just told a reporter who was questioning you in Cleveland that you want women to have a secure and stable future. I asked you about marriage and whether lesbian mothers should be allowed to marry. Isn't marriage a part of creating a stable future?
You know, again, I'm going to talk to you about the economy and about job creation and about how my husband is the right person for the right time. This is going to be an election that is very important for women. And we are going to make sure that their economic prosperity is more certain under President Romney.
There's a whole bunch of these in here. There's like songbooks with sheet music in it.
Dave Rhodes just acquired hundreds of Davenport Public Library books.
Yeah, there's a Disney book.
He didn't check them out.
Oh, this is kind of a fun book. Teach you a little.
He didn't buy them.
Somebody's gonna want this book. There's probably.
Dave and his girlfriend rescued the books from among the 4,000 the library has recently tossed in dumpsters.
We saw that they weren't in bad condition, and we didn't really understand why they were doing it.
The library needs room for new books, and sometimes, even when they're in good shape, nobody wants the old ones.
The library has tried. The library has tried places like the jail, nursing homes, Salvation, Goodwill. You know, we have tried, and it's just not that easy to give them away to different places.
And the library's authorized book sales sometimes generate little interest.
If you put these books on a shelf in a box that said free, I guarantee you someone's gonna come and get it.
Maybe, but as a government entity, the library has legal restrictions and can't simply give away government property however it wants. All that, and factors like competition from e-readers, has sent thousands of Davenport library books to the trash. The Davenport Public Library says it's not alone. Libraries across the country have been faced with the very same problem, actually having to throw books away because they're not able to get rid of them. Still, Dave feels confident he can find a home for the hundreds of books he's rescued.
95% of these books are definitely usable and valuable to someone. It's just, you know, letting them know that they're there so they can get them.
In Davenport, David Nelson, KWQC TV6 News.
I opened door and, you know, I didn't even say, can I help you? He say, I'm criminal investigator. I use Samara Korbazik. I'm like, yes.
2 weeks ago at 8:45 p.m., the visitor at Samira Korbadzik's door identified himself as Daniel Dawson, the Iowa Secretary of State voter fraud investigator. After questioning some of her neighbors about her, she says he asked her a series of personal questions about her family and income.
He almost asked me how I live my life without working. That's my point, you know, in my head, and I feel so shame and I'm scared, and, you know, it's just you're expecting something is going to happen really bad.
Korbadzik, a Bosnian immigrant, said investigator Dawson then told her he had proof that, as a non-citizen, she voted in 2008, which she admits. She says she was confused, wrongly thinking her green card entitled her to vote.
He's like, if you vote this year in November, we're going to ship you back in your country.
A criminal investigator coming to her home at nighttime, asking her personal questions, interviewing her neighbors about her, threatening her with deportation. All that, Samira says, has caused her to live in fear. all because she voted in 2008.
I don't see that there's any intent to commit fraud.
Scott County Auditor Roxana Moritz says Korbajic is accountable for signing a voter registration form falsely attesting that she's a U.S. citizen. But Moritz says it appears to her an honest mistake. Moritz says she's requested the state's list of suspected fraudulent voters so Scott County can do its own investigation, but the state has refused. She says she too wants to prevent ineligible voting, but is concerned about the way the state is going about it.
And I'm concerned when anyone is fearful, and especially someone knocking on their door at 9 o'clock at night, maybe a single woman, not sure who's there, not sure what their rights are.
Korbajic had the right to not talk, to tell the investigator to leave and get an attorney, something she didn't know. The evidence against her could result in an arrest if Scott County prosecutors decide it's warranted. In Davenport, David Nelson, KWQC TV6 News.